Catholics here in the Diocese of Springfield may be familiar with the Dominican Nuns' annual Rosary Sunday devotions, which date back to the order's arrival in Springfield in 1922. The Rosary, prayer, and Eucharistic adoration have been the primary devotions of the cloistered order for a century now. In honor of the centennial of this spiritual oasis, a Thanksgiving Mass celebrated by Bishop William Byrne was held back on September 3rd. Steve Kiltonick was there and spoke with several members of the community about their rich and colorful history.
It sits like a fortress from the Middle Ages overlooking Riverdale Road in West Springfield. To many who drive by, the inhabitants of the stone edifice remain a mystery. But for the past century, the cloistered, contemplative Dominican Sisters of the Mother of God have lived here, behind the walls of the monastery, praying for those on the outside.
People don't know about us, so it's like a silent presence. But there's a main road down, and people pass by, they look up, some don't know what it is, and some just say, those people are praying for us, whoever they are. And that's true. We've been praying for 100 years. Our greatest devotion is the intercession to God for the salvation of souls.
Sister Teresa Marie is the prioress of the order, whose roots go back to the 13th century in St. Dominic Guzman. St. Dominic led a life of extraordinary holiness. He had a gift for preaching the Word of God, but lived during a time when the Albigenses were spreading a doctrine of heresy in France against the Catholic faith.
He had a great desire to convert them, which put the idea of having an order that would preach against heresy, and the motto of our order is truth.
In 1206, St. Dominic converted a group of 9 women and established a community of cloistered nuns in Prouy, France. During the fight against heresy, St. Dominic received the rosary from the Virgin Mary in a vision and became the first to implement the widespread teaching of this sacred devotion. For 7 centuries, the nuns followed the rule of St. Augustine and the teaching of St. Dominic. In 1891, the sisters eventually came to New Jersey, then Catonsville, Maryland, to establish the first Dominican monasteries in America dedicated to the perpetual rosary.
There was a sister there, a novice, who felt the call of the Blessed Mother, asking them to found a monastery in this diocese, Springfield Diocese.
In 1922, Sister Mary of the Crown and Mother Mary Hyacinth traveled north to Springfield to speak to Springfield Bishop Thomas Mary O'Leary.
Because his middle name was Mary, so he obviously had a great devotion to our Blessed Mother. So that's when he said, come to Springfield in the name of God and Mary. That'll be our gift to her on her birthday.
He had no funds, and the sisters only had $5, of course. So when he said, are you going to build the monastery with $5? And they said, oh no, Bishop, no, we will not build it. The Blessed Mother will build it.
Mother Mary Hyacinth, designated the first prioress, was joined by 5 sisters who took up residence on Ingersoll Grove in Springfield. But by 1925, the sisters were looking for a larger place with more solitude and decided to visit the 142-acre Nye estate in the Brush Hill section of West Springfield.
They just came up to the door and just said, we want to buy your property and your house. And they go, well, it's not for sale. But that's how nuns work. They just...
Mr. Nye, a banker, fell down a set of stairs in Boston and died. His wife then put the property up for sale. There were 2 bidders, the Springfield Country Club, which had cash, and the sisters, who had next to nothing. Bishop O'Leary, on his ad limina trip to visit the Pope, heard about the sisters' predicament.
They always say something happened in the middle of the ocean. He telegraphed his secretary back in the diocese, give the nuns the check.
Mrs. Nye chose the sisters. 12 sisters and 2 postulates moved into their 22-room house with 7 master bedrooms, several barns, and a 9-room farmhouse. By 1930, the number of sisters grew to 30, and over the ensuing 25 years, the Rosary Sunday devotions and pilgrimages drew huge crowds to the hill. In 1947, an estimated 25,000, including 500 priests, attended the Silver Jubilee of the community. Work on the Sisters' Dream, a large monastery and chapel in the monastic tradition, began in 1954. Mother Mary of the Immaculate Heart, the prioress, contacted state senators and business leaders to obtain the required steel, which was in short supply after the Korean War. On September 24, 1956, the community joyously moved into its new monastery. It's an architectural marvel, simple, beautiful, and well constructed. Over the years, the lives of the Dominican sisters has changed little.
Most of our day is in silence. There's moments when we speak, and otherwise it's absolute silence, so we can remain united with God.
Their day, which starts around 4 a.m., can be broken down into 8 hours of prayer, including Eucharistic adoration and the Liturgy of the Hours, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of sleep.
Our food is a rather simple food, but nourishing. Our work is a simple work of the household, the cleaning, sewing, and we do little works, make rosaries, blessed roses that we give to the sick and to those who ask our prayers, and constant requests for prayers by writing, by phone, and by our notebook in the back of the chapel.
The sisters answer through their spiritual bouquet card office. Prayer requests also come from around the world from the sisters' website. Perpetual Rosary stopped years ago when the sisters' numbers started to decline from a high of 49. There are currently 6 sisters residing in the monastery, with 3 more slated to come from a sister monastery in Ohio. There are no novice sisters in formation, which is a 9 to 12-year process. For those who feel called, the cloistered life can be rewarding.
It's a hard life because we don't have vacations, we don't go anywhere, but we have tons of property back there. The beauty of God's nature is all around us. Each person has a calling in life, and we find our joy here, our happiness, fulfillment.
The sisters are inspired by the support of the lay people, which hasn't wavered over the years.
It's just unbelievable, the generosity of the lay people to our monastery. We're just always in awe and gratitude. It's the providence of God that we're still here, through their love and their generosity.
On September 3rd, Springfield Bishop William Burden celebrated a special anniversary Mass with diocesan priests, and thanks to the Dominican Nuns of the Mother of God for a century of prayer, dedication, and devotion. The nuns believe their future and long-term survival are in good hands.
We've never lost hope. Never, because we really trust in the Blessed Mother's desire for this monastery. It's in her hands.
For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonick.